Did you know that Dutch last names didn't even exist until the early 1800s? And when they were introduced, some Dutch families turned the entire concept into a joke. Let's talk about the fascinating and sometimes funny history behind Dutch surnames. The story begins during the Napoleonic occupation of the Netherlands from 1795 to 1813. Before this period, most Dutch people didn't even have fixed family surnames. Instead, they used patronymic names, where the children's last names were based on the father's first names. For example, if your dad's name was Jan, your last name would be Janssen, or Jan's son. But Napoleon had a different vision. In 1811, he introduced the civil registry system. This required every person in the Netherlands to register a fixed last name. Why? It made it easier to keep track of people for things like taxation, property records, and of course, military conscription. How did the Dutch respond to this? Well, many of them didn't take it too seriously. In fact, some saw it as an opportunity to poke fun at the entire process. Historically, surnames were more common among the upper classes, merchants, and nobility. So, to many Dutch citizens, being forced to adopt a last name felt unnecessary, and maybe even a little pretentious. So, what did the Dutch do? Well, they got creative. Some Dutch families registered names that were downright hilarious or absurd. For instance, names like, which literally translates to born naked, or which means little poop, and which translates to rarely home. Others opted for ironic names that poked fun at themselves. A tall person might take the name Klein, and a short person might call themselves Groot. Despite the initial humor and resistance, these names stuck. Over time, they became a part of Dutch family identities, passed down from generation to generation. Today, these quirky surnames are a window into Dutch history and culture. They're also a reminder of how the Dutch have always had a knack for turning even the most serious situations into something lighthearted.